Welcome, everybody. My name is Melinda Romero with Grace Company. Joining me is,
I'm Jared Krasnoznik.
and we're here today with our wonderful partners down in Fort Worth area, Sewing World of Fort Worth. So again, super excited. We have Tracy from Sewing World with us. And Jarek, today we have lots of fun things to talk about, right?
We do, especially the upcoming show. That's like the main thing that's super exciting, right?
Yes. See, I always tell people, I wouldn't necessarily say one time or another is the best time to buy, but if there's a show, anytime there's a show, almost 9 times out of 10, you're going to have the best deals purchasing in conjunction with the show than any other time of the year. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no way you can get a better price than at a show because that's, where you can also work out some deals and you get to see them in person too. So it's just like a combination of like a lot of good factors. But yeah, I've never seen pricing that's lower, even like Black Friday and stuff like that. Like pricing at shows is always going to be better.
Yes. And especially when we're there with our partner, we can sometimes, throw in a couple extra things, make the deals a little bit sweeter, because we're from Grace Company. We're there with our wonderful partner. They all, have the best pricing, but sometimes we can just make it a little bit better, right,
Yeah.
Jarek?
We can make it a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, that's really the best time. And that's when a lot of people are getting their machines too. You're waiting to go see it in person. If you haven't been into the store, that's also another great reason to go into the store too. But you get to see the quilts, you get to see a whole ton of other different things. It's like it only comes like once a year, right? Like it's not very often you get to go to a quilt show. So that's a part of what makes it fun.
Yes. So OSQE, do you remember what those letters, what they mean?
Honestly, I don't. I'm like that. It's like I couldn't tell you what is. I know you do. You deal with the shows a lot.
Yes. So OSQE, it's
okay.
Original
I remember
Sewing and Quilting.
As soon as you said it, I remembered it.
Yes, it's one of those. It's like wait. I know this.
Yeah.
So OSQE, honestly, it's one of my favorite shows that I go to. Not just in the Dallas Irving show, but kind of that eastern area. I've gone to Lakeland, I've gone to Atlanta, I know we go to Cincinnati, I've done Novi, you've done Novi, so there's a handful of different OSQE shows that we go to, and they're kind of my favorite. I love the show promoters, they're fabulous to work with. The quilts that they bring in, they do a fashion show. They're wonderful shows. If you've never been, go. And especially if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, surrounding area. I know Texas is big. I don't know the area very well, but if you're in that area, take some time to go. Check it out. See what you've been missing. If you already go to that show, great. Make sure to come by our booth and say hi. But what are some of your experiences with OSQE?
I just have a similar good experience too, and I really do like the quilts that they have there. I think if I'm remembering right, they usually have like the cherry wood, whatever it is, like those smaller panels, and I like those. They always do like whatever the series is that year, so those are fun to see, all those like little blocks. So yeah, I do like seeing the quilts there. And there's like some quilt shows I go to where they don't really have that many quilts. I feel like OSQE has a good mix of like the booths to the quilts.
Yes. And I know they do some fantastic giveaways at that show too. So we do have a graphic. We'll get that popped up here momentarily. Just giving the details about OSQE, Dallas Irving, the show dates, the show, the times for those dates. I'll be flying to Dallas next Wednesday. The show starts Thursday, so it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can see the Irving Convention Center, the show dates and times. Come see us because we will be there. All right, so let's go ahead and bring Tracy in. Tracy joins us from Sewing World right there in Fort Worth. Tracy, in my experience over the last few years, has been phenomenal to work with. She shows genuine care and I don't necessarily want to say concern, but just the genuine care, the interest. She has a passion, for sewing, quilting. She really does take care of her customers there at Sewing World. But it's not just Tracy; it's everybody there. Whether it's Richard, the owner, whether it's Alex, with machine maintenance and repair. Everybody that I've talked to is great. So thanks so much for joining us, Tracy. Tell us a little bit about Sewing World.
Okay. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the live show here with Grace Company. And I want to let you know, yes, we are in Fort Worth. We're the west side north of Ridgemar Mall on the back side. I started working here about 5.5 years ago. The store has Sewing World has been around since 1967. I did calculate that, and it's 58 years. So
Wow.
not too
Wow, that's a
far
long
from a
time.
60th wedding anniversary. Yes, a business anniversary.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So
I didn't realize Richard has been in business that long. Wow. Yeah.
yes.
Does he realize that? No, I'm just kidding. So,
And we do of course had the Grace. We have the on display. We have the Rebel, the little Rebel, and on the QD Breeze frame, and we also have the Unique X Elite 16 and the 21 on two various frames. The 16 X Elite is on the Q Zone hoop frame, and then we have the 21 on, of course, the big, larger frame on the Evolution roller frame. We also have the mini frame that those that are just trying to start out and want to get the idea of free motion. We also service. We have two full-time techs that also service the machines, and we give anybody purchase an embroidery machine. We are a Janome, Baby Lock, and Brother dealer, but we do other service on other machines, um, and we just try to give everybody personal. Help when they have questions, and hopefully we can answer them.
oh, awesome, awesome. I personally have nothing but good things to ever say about Sewing World. In my interactions, again with you, Tracy, with Richard, uh, I've been with Grace Company for 4 years. Just celebrated my 4-year anniversary, and the account executive that had Sewing World before I did, she had said, you were doing great. We're helping with answer questions with orders. Yes, they're placing orders, but talking to Richard, it's like he's kind of hard to talk to. And then Jana, she had said, you took over, and pretty soon Richard's sending you pictures while he's on vacation, out in the ocean, and she can hear us talking and laughing, and she's like, I don't know what it is. You guys kind of, hit it off, have that connection, which I absolutely love and appreciate. And you guys have been so easy to work with. I love it. I love it. So I love the history of Sewing World. 50 years, that's a long time. Long time. So I can't even fathom that amount of time in my life. Can you?
No, like that long being in business is a really long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And especially with the economy changing. I know Sewing World was very instrumental in the Fort Worth area, especially during COVID. You know, you guys were there taking care of customers, helping customers, you know, kind of going through all the, you know, kind of compliance and everything with masking. But you guys were very instrumental with the customers in the area. So thank you from Grace Company. I absolutely love it. So, Jarek, what do you think? And Tracy, what do you think? Should we go ahead and announce our first giveaway winner?
Yeah, I think so. That's a really fun thing to do right now. Let's do that.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So today we have 3 giveaways. Let's start with the first giveaway of the Quilters Combo. So I love the Quilters Combo. If you're cutting, you know, if you're sewing, you're obviously cutting fabric and, you know, other things. The Quilters Combo gives you the best tools to be able to do all of your cutting needs. So we're including the 24 by 36 cutting mat. The combo comes with the 6.5 by 24.5 inch ruler, the 45 millimeter comfort cutter, and a package of True Grips. So drum roll, let's see who our winner is of the Quilters Combo. All right, Roberta. I don't even know how to pronounce that last name.
Giardione, I don't know.
Cool.
Sounds far.
She's going to be thrilled.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So, Roberta, we have your information from when you registered for today's event. So we will reach out to you. Allegra from graceframe.com will reach out to you. Get a little bit more information because we have your address your phone number and email. She'll get your address information so we can go ahead and send that wonderful prize right out. So again, congratulations, Roberta, and let's kind of talk about what people can kind of expect by going to Sewing World. And I think we have a little video of the store giving us a tour, which I was super excited to see. So we'll go ahead and jump into that video and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
No video.
All right, we may.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
I'm just having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, so I apologize. I'm not seeing. I was pretty certain our video was uploaded into our platform. We'll work on that and hopefully be able to come back to that video. So in the interim, Tracy, let's start by talking about Grace Frames. So I know in many conversations I've had with Richard, he said he has been with Grace Company, being a dealer and a partner with Grace Company way back when all we sold were frames. So Tracy, I just want to ask, just personal preference, what is your favorite Grace frame?
Grace frame? Well, to be honest, if I wanted a Grace frame, I'd probably want the Evolution roller frame, because I know that I would probably want to add the automation system to it, and probably add I'd be happy with the 16X Elite machine to go as well.
Oh, awesome.
That way I can just put a big quilt in there and go.
Yes, yes. To me that sounds almost like the perfect setup. I love the Evolution Elite frame because it's available in 3 sizes. So, Jarek, tell us about the different sizes and maybe some of what your favorite features are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love the Evolution frame passionately because like we were talking about earlier, Melinda was talking about earlier, we made frames and we didn't make frames just for ourselves, we made them for other companies and we still do that. So like for example, we make one of Bernina's frames, and while we're doing that, we had the Continuum too, which was an okay frame in its own regard, but I was really kind of envious of the frame that we were making for Bernina because it
Right?
has the metal ratchets, and I was like, when are we going to have a really awesome frame like this with the metal ratchets for our own customers? And then lo and behold, like a year or two later, then we did come out with the Evolution frame. So I was really happy when they first showed me that. I was like, yes. I was just like, seriously, in my heart, just like hoping that someday we would have that so I could offer the same thing to people, because I'm like, I know there's frames that have metal ratchets, this one doesn't, you know, and it's just like I couldn't really tell them about it. So now I feel really confident saying, you know, this is a really solid frame that is going to last for forever. It's super thick. So it's a premium frame, and it is the 8, 10, or 12, but really it can be any size. We have different boxes to make it shorter or longer, so that's kind of why it's called Evolution as well, because it can evolve with whatever space you have. There also, you can start out as like a hooping rolling system. So I guess I'll also explain briefly too, if you're not familiar with hooping, it's just like when you're embroidery hooping, right? You know, you're hooping your fabric into a little device, and then when you're done with that, you're unclamping it, moving to the next section. So it's just the same thing on a larger scale. So that's what this cutie frame over here does. You can see there's one behind Melinda.
Yeah.
That's what a hooping frame looks like. The extra hangs off the edge. So you can start with the 5-foot space on the Evolution frame, which I don't have here, the Evolution hoop frame, but I just like to talk about how really it can fit any situation, and that's kind of why coming to the show is good, because there's a lot of different options, and Tracy has experience and the owner has experience, so people there will be able to, you know, come to whatever your situation is, because it's different for everyone. A lot of people don't have the space. A lot of people, you know, you
Maybe
gotta
not the budget.
maybe not in the budget. So there's things that do the
Right.
same things that are more expensive. So it's just like there's a lot of things to navigate, but there's like it's a double-edged sword, because it's hard to navigate. So that's why we have someone to help you, and then they'll find something that's like very specific and niche to you individually, not just to like, hey, this one sock size fits all, because I mean, excuse me, socks do fit pretty well, but it's like, you know, it could fit a little bit better, or that sort of thing. So machines are not like socks. Like, you need to find one that fits to you.
That is the greatest and funniest analogy I think I've ever heard. You know, comparing your machine frame setup to socks. Never thought of it that way. And now it's going to be stuck in my head forever. But it's
Absolutely.
so true. So true. You know, I think it's funny. I wear a size 8.5 shoes. I can choose a woman's sock. I want to say on the package it says between like a size 6 to a 9, or the next option, like between a size, I think 8 and 12. And it's like, who has these gigantic feet? Not me. My feet are average size. But I can go between either size sock. Personally, I like the smaller size sock. It fits a little bit better than that bigger size sock, which technically I'd be fine with either option, but it's that personal kind of preference. What fits me the way I want it to.
Exactly, and I'll tell you from experience, I mean, I'm sure some of us know too, I know there's a lot of seamstresses out there, you know, you made your own custom clothes, but if you know, when you get clothes from the store, you got to go try on a whole ton of them, because you're not sure how they're going to fit, even though they're like a generic size. But one time I did get like a tailored shirt, and man, the way that it fit was like way better than anything I've ever tried on before in my life. And I was like, so this is like what the possibility is here. I was like, wow, I opened my mind. I was like, clothes could fit this good. So I think it's the same thing too. You know, we'll tailor the machine and the package specifically to you, so you're not buying something just off the shelf, and it's like a setup that's going to work well for you.
Yes, I love it. So again, with Grace Company, we started, you know, just being in the business of frames. We have, you know, over the course of quite a few years, morphed into so much more. So I would say that the 2 frames behind me are probably going to be our best selling frames. When I started with Grace Company in 2021, we had launched the original cutie frame. I know kind of during that time frame, there were a lot of shipping and logistics issues, but I don't think any of that tainted the cutie and what it meant to people. So bottom line, ultimately, I think the cutie original or even into the cutie breeze have been our #1 selling frame for the last 4 years, probably 4.5 years by this point. So the cutie, again, it's ideal for people that have smaller spaces. So whether you're just starting out, maybe have a 1-bedroom apartment, a small home, you just don't have the space for a larger frame. The cutie also is ideal for people that may be downsizing, moving into smaller spaces, or for the quilter or the non-quilter at that point. Somebody that wants to kind of dip their toes into quilting, but they don't want to make a huge investment into something they don't even know if they're going to like quilting. So part of the beauty of the cutie is you can use your domestic machine. I know Sewing World has a large variety of different machines that pair nicely with the cutie. So you can start with the cutie with your domestic machine. And there's a trajectory path. So once you're ready to upgrade, whether it's upgrading to a new machine or ultimately into a bigger frame, there's a path that allows you to do that. And kind of going back to the socks, it's not it is in a way one size fits all, but it's all about customizing for what's going to fit you personally, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think something really interesting with the cutie frame as well is just because of, how popular it's been, and there's like a massive online Facebook group that like we don't even run, that's just like community related. So I always feel better when I know there's a lot of people involved. I like to look at reviews and see what other people's experience are. So there's a ton of anecdotal stories and lots of people's experience having a good time using the cutie frame. And I think also like kind of, I don't want to say philosophically speaking, but almost like a little bit, but kind of just like with quilting in general is I feel like a lot of quilters, they're hard workers, but sometimes there's a fear of like things need to be perfect the first time. But also the same thing with the discipline, like you usually understand that to get good at something, you got to do a little bit at a time, day by day. So that's where the cutie frame really comes in, because it's somewhere where you can dip your toes in without having to, invest too much risk or time or money, so that way you can start getting good. Because I'm gonna tell you what, you're never gonna get good stitches if you don't start practicing and keep that discipline practicing. It like doesn't have to be like a super scary thing, but I completely understand why it is. So
Yes. Now, Tracy, I often talk about 3 C's when I'm talking about quilting. We all want to be great right out the gate. Overnight, we're going to be great, right, Jarek? And that's with everything, whether it's sewing, whether it's quilting, whether it's cooking, whether it's gardening. It can be anything. It's just human nature of us. We want to be great. I would say maybe 1% of people can achieve greatness at a very, very fast kind of rate. For everybody else, myself included, it takes time. So yes, you have to practice. As you're practicing, you get more comfortable. As you're getting more comfortable, with whatever your frame, whatever machine you have, as you're getting comfortable, that's building your confidence, right? So as we have that confidence built up, ultimately it's having that confidence that allows us to be more creative. So 3 C's: comfortable, confident, creative. What do you think, Jarek?
I really think that's true too. And I feel like you got to be comfortable to get started, because sometimes I have like these ambitions and I have this goal, and I kind of just feel like I don't even want to get started because the amount of work I have to do feels overwhelming. So breaking it down and also finding ways and tools to help me make that process more easy and kind of make it like a steeper, like a shallower ramp. If you're comfortable and you're having fun, then you're going to just have fun practicing. So that's where I mean, I think that's really great. Yeah, and that's where the cutie frame, the mini quilter, the little rebel, I mean, you're building up that skill all along instead of having to wait to spend. I mean, our most expensive one even isn't $15,000, but there's ones out there that are, right?
Yeah.
So usually when people think sewing machines, they think that. So
Well,
you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. You don't have to knock down a wall.
you don't have to give up your firstborn.
Right, right. So there, there's something that can work for your situation now, and as your skill improves, maybe you also feel justified in getting something bigger, or you'll find out you want to do automation, because that way you don't even have to worry too much about the physical skill. You can just use the machine, can do it, and you can get the results that you want. Because we got to think about what it is at the end of the day. Usually we want to have fun, we want to get the projects done, we want to give gifts to people.
We want to go buy more fabric.
We want to go
have
buy
an
more
excuse
fabric.
To go buy more fabric.
Want to collect. So these tools are here to help you have a better time with what your goals and what you're wanting to do in quilting is.
Yes, yes. So I know we have a graphic of all the frames that we offer. So let's go ahead, we'll get that pulled up. So these are the frames, yes, so we offer them, but Sewing World, can help you get these frames as well. So we'll start with the mini quilter. Again, it's a small setup. Use the mini quilter with your domestic machine. You can use the little Rebel on the mini quilter. The same with the Cutie Breeze. Now, Jarek, tell us kind of the differences between the mini quilter and the Cutie Breeze.
Well, honestly, in my opinion, the Cutie's like twice as good as the mini quilter. I mean, it's basically twice the size. Not to rag on the mini quilter, but the mini quilter really is there as an option price-wise.
Yes.
So it's a really affordable price. Also for very small projects. I know that people that have large systems, some of them have gotten the mini quilter for traveling, also just for small projects as well. So it does have its uses there as well. It's got handles on the bottom and versus the handles on the top in the Cutie. You can kind of see that in the picture there. So you can see that also the Cutie works with slightly larger frames, so there's more upside there. But I feel like the mini quilter is a really good thing to try, because it's small, it's unintimidating. You can use it with your own machine, just like the Breeze, but usually I have people sit down and try the the mini first, and they end up buying the Breeze because they understand, but it's really, an unintimidating thing to try, because even the Cutie can be intimidating, which I understand as well. So yeah, give yourself a try on the small one. Once you see then you start to understand, oh, this is why I want handles over. This is why I might want a longer machine. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it's also, just different people, different goals, different positions of how much money you want to spend, what the value is to you. Is it like, oh, I'm not really sure I like this, or some people are like, I know I like it, I just don't have the budget. Some people are like, I have the budget and I know I want to do it, I just don't know which one to get. So that's where here at the show, and the Tracy's here
and the show, yeah,
is to eliminate those questions, because I know that you have a lot of them, because I've talked to a lot of quilters and they have lots of really good questions. So
yes.
Don't feel like you have any bad questions, because I haven't heard a stupid question, honestly. Like every single one I've heard always been like, that's fair. Like, because I've asked myself that too. Like when I first started working here a long time ago, I was just like, I don't get it. Like, why is this? Why is that? So you're allowed to ask questions and be curious and make sure that you're getting something that's right for you. Because I feel like sometimes, I don't know, like at a car dealership or something like that, I feel like stupid for asking a question. And sometimes they help you feel better about that, but that's where I'm just like, I like Grace and Tracy, because we're always like, it's fine. Like, that's what we're here for.
But I
We're
feel
here to
like
ask
at a
questions.
car dealership, you're more likely to get told an answer that may or may not be true, that whoever it is you're asking that question is just saying it, to make you feel better and get you closer to securing that sale. Whereas my experiences in the sewing and quilting industry the last 4 years, I don't feel that I get a lot of that, one with our partners, but in conversations with other businesses, other brands, I don't feel a lot of that either. So, you know, I'll say for the most part, I feel the sewing and quilting industry is very genuine, very, you know, honest. And there's, you know, the people behind the scenes have a passion for the industry, and they carry that forward with everything that they do, which I love. So let's go ahead and go back to that graphic. So we talked about the mini quilter, we talked about the cutie. Next up in that line, we have the Q-sewn hoop, the Evolution hoop, the Q-sewn queen, and then of course the Evolution Elite frame. So the Q-sewn hoop, I would kind of compare this frame. Yes, it's just like the Cutie Breeze, it's just like the mini quilter, but it's a little bit bigger. Whereas the other two frames are tabletop frames, so they're portable, storable, relocatable. The Q-sewn hoop has its dedicated legs. So again, it's more of a, once that frame is up, it's up, you know, where you set it up, that's where that frame is going to live. You can still use your domestic sewing machine on the Q-sewn hoop frame, but you also have, you know, that freedom and flexibility. You can add a unique machine, you know, just like with the Cutie Breeze, you can add a unique machine. Again, it's just a little bit bigger of a frame. It's still a hoop style frame, so you can quilt any size quilt on the Cutie Breeze and the Q-sewn hoop frames. Any size, so that's anything, you know, from your table runner or crib size, all the way up to a king or larger. Now, Jarek, tell us about the Q-sewn queen.
So Q-sewn queen is an 8-foot frame, and you can also see there's one right to the right of it, and we're talking about the one right in the center right now. So Q-sewn queen, then there's one with the 2-foot extension. So we're talking on either an 8-foot or a 10-foot frame, and this is a 2-rail frame that we've had for a while. So it's a classic frame, really, you know, robust design, tried and true for a really long time. And essentially, you know, I'm not talking about pricing, but essentially it's basically free with some packages that we have.
Yes.
So this lower tier, I mean, when you get the machine, you get the frame for free. So that's where the incredible value of the frame is. And like you said, Melinda, we started out making frames, and now they're kind of overshadowed, and that's fair because machines are really fun. But you know, that's where we've got some strong base frames to, I mean, they're really the unsung hero of the show, right? Because they're what allow you to do a big quilt or a small quilt. Now the hoop frame do any size. The queen can do up to a queen size, and the 10 can do like some king sizes depending on how big of the king it is.
Yes.
So, and it's a rolling frame where you don't have to hoop it and move it to the next section, you're rolling it up. And I always tell people, if you have the space, if you can make the space, then a rolling frame is easier. It's just true. But that's where we don't all, you know, we always joke about, I mean, customers that come by, I'm always joking with them about, oh, wouldn't it be so nice if you could just extend your house, like pull out that wall, add some extra space to it.
If it were that easy.
I know, if it were that easy. So if you do have the option, yeah, the rolling frames, that's what I have. I don't have the queen, I have the Evolution, but it's so nice to be able to just roll to the next section.
Yes, yes. So I personally, I don't mind hooping and shifting my fabric across a frame. But at the end of the day, yes, it is easier to finish your quilts on a rolling rail frame. I don't have the space. I started with the original Cutie, now I have the Evolution hoop frame. You know, so again, both frames not taking up a ton of space. I can still quilt any size quilt. Hopefully one day I can convert, yes, you heard that correctly, convert my Evolution hoop frame into the Evolution Elite frame. So that's where we're heading next. So the Evolution hoop frame, let's go ahead and bring that graphic back up. So the Evolution hoop frame, it is built with the same kind of standards as the Evolution Elite frame. It's stronger, it's heavier, it's built more durable, but it's a convertible frame. So yes, it's 5.5 feet when it's set up. Yes, it's a hoop style quilt. Yes, you can quilt any size quilt on the Evolution hoop frame. But ultimately, one day when I have a bigger space, I can convert it to the Evolution Elite frame. So then it's a rolling rail frame versus the hoop style frame. I can't think of any other frame out there that has that convertible capability. Can you, Jarek?
No, I think this is basically the only one out there like that. Most of them are set up to be that size, and you can't really buy something to upgrade them, so that does make this one unique in that way. So yeah, I really do love the Evolution hoop frame too. If I had to go with the second choice, just because of the rolling, I love the rolling. Being able to roll and hoop, and especially it would be an A++ choice for someone that doesn't have a lot of space. Yeah, if I had to have other space in my living room, like fortunately, I'd get to take up the whole thing because
I kid and I joke around. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Put your mind to it. Make the space. Make the space. It's there. I promise you can make it. It's mostly a joke, but.
Yeah. So the Evolution hoop frame's great because it does both. I know a lot of people that really like it because of that choice. You can roll it when it's small, hoop when it's bigger. You can also fit up to a 21-inch machine on it. So we're talking a 5-foot space with a 21-inch machine. I mean, that's the ideal hoop setup right there, is being able to do all that 21 inches back and forth. Also the extra 5 feet, is bigger than the cutie frame and the hoop frame by a little bit. So you get the best of both worlds. If I had to choose, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but like zombie apocalypse frame where, you need like a one good all-rounder, something that will get you through the storm, emergency frame. Like if we had to get rid of all of our other frames and we could only keep one, I'd be like, we should keep the Evolution hoop because it's just like the most versatile frame for anyone.
Yes, I agree. All right, and then going from the Evolution hoop, let's talk about the Evolution Elite frame. So we have briefly talked about it a few times. It's our biggest frame, it's our heaviest frame, it's our most durable frame. It's a rolling rail frame. It's just such a great frame. It really truly is. Now you said you have this frame at home.
I do.
What are your absolute favorite features?
Well, I already mentioned earlier, it's got to be like the metal ratchets. They're just so clicky and they hold really well. And I just know that they're durable versus like a plastic ratchet. So I do love the star rail and the other rails too. And just the size of it. And it's just like doesn't budge versus the other ones have like a little bit of give. But this one's just like solid.
Yes.
So yeah, I just really love the build quality of it all around. And it really is perfect. Like I did some other people's quilts is why I kind of had the machine so I could do a few other people's quilts with the automation. And so if you're looking from like a business standpoint or like doing it for other people, definitely the Evolution frame at a 10 or 12 foot is going to be the best. You're going to be able to handle any size quilt. You're going to be able to do the whole length and you can do a lot of it at one time. So that's where you also kind of have to consider what your goals are. I know a lot of people out there are just like, well, Jarek, you just lost me. Because guess what? I absolutely don't want to do it for anyone else ever. And I'm like, that's great. Because if I was just doing this for myself, by the way, I'd want the same one because of the convenience for myself. Like,
Yes.
The reason why it's convenient for business is because it's most convenient for the user yourself. So you have the least amount of effort for the most result at quilting is really what it comes down to.
Yes. So again, that's our current frame lineup. I know that I don't even know how many frames, are before my time with Grace Company.
A lot of frames.
I get questions, I get phone calls, whether even from people at a show, they'll say, hey, I have this Grace frame. Okay, do you know which frame? And they're like, oh, it's the original. And usually it wasn't the original.
Yeah.
But just asking questions, finally being able to determine what frame they have, we can get them helped out, and just the frames. It's For machine quilting, you have to have a frame. It doesn't mean you have to have this machine or that machine or what have you. There's uh, a perfect combination for you based on the frame, based on the machine. My frame of choice isn't necessarily going to be Jarek's frame of choice or Tracy's, setup of choice. It's customizable, which I love. So, if you have any questions about any of the frames that we've talked about, reach out to Sewing World. Their address, their phone number, their website's going across the bottom of the screen. Come see us at OSQE Irving next week. From now until the show, maybe a couple of days after the show, this is going to be the best pricing on machine in-frame combos. So before we get into talking about machines
I do want to say
and
one thing
automation, yes,
about the hoop frames, because I really talked up the rolling frames, but I always want to remind people the hoop frames, what the alternative is like push quilting your quilt.
and nobody wants to do that.
So people are like, oh, I can't have a rolling frame, but I'm like, you can still have a hoop frame, and that's like having to walk somewhere and having a car to get there. Like a rolling frame, sure, that's like an airplane ticket. Well, that's nice, but having a car versus walking somewhere is like a massive difference, even biking somewhere. So it's like a massive difference in how easy it is. And I just started out, I didn't really know much about quilting, and I was just, I had experience with the push quilting, and then one day they had us try out the sit down push because I came from the other direction, selling the machines, and I like tried it out, and I was like, wow, this is like actually like 10 times harder than I thought it was.
Why would anybody want to do
yeah,
this?
and I get it because there's not other options, and sometimes you get used to that sort of thing. But the way that it wears on your shoulders and your body, and especially with large quilts, quilting rodeo going on there, wrestling your quilt, trying to support like fabric is heavy. So that's where I just wanted to bring that up, show some love to the hoop frames. Even though the rolling frames are great, the hoop frames are still an amazing choice.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're a push quilter and you absolutely love it, more power to you. You have my utmost respect.
Absolutely.
It's just not something I personally would choose to do. So, Tracy, I want to kind of bring you back in. Do you have any particular questions or maybe any additional comments about what we've talked about frame-wise?
You're wanting my opinion, my comments?
Yes. If you
Sorry,
have
we
any.
got a machine. We got a machine, and you happen to unmute or mute me because we got a machine going back here.
That's
Um,
okay.
Sorry about that. Um, I don't know exactly what you're, as far as any comments. I know I can't read anything as far as anybody else's live comments.
Yep. So just any tidbits of information about frames that you might want to share with our audience. So anything you've picked up over the years of helping customers, selling Grace Company products, anything. It doesn't, if you have an opinion or a comment, that's great. Okay, so
We lost her.
I think we may have lost Tracy, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get her back in. Now, Jarek, I think we have a next giveaway.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
right? All right. So today we had 3 giveaways. We've already given away the quilters.
Okay, here I am.
Oh, there she is.
I always said something went wrong.
Darn technology, right?
Yes, exactly. Of course, on a live show. Yes, I did want to make a comment. You were talking about, where people out the gate want to learn how to, they want to know how to do free motion right away. So
Yeah,
I
and they want
tell
to be
them,
great at it.
yes, absolutely. I let them know when you were in school, you had to learn to do handwriting, you had to do script writing, you had to practice. And I mean, I went home and I had to practice. So, and that's what free motion is like, is writing your signature on the quilt. And I'll have people even do that. And your signature almost looks like that when you're moving that machine.
Yes, yes. It does. It does. Practice makes perfect. We are just full of analogies today. I love it. I love it. So from socks, you
Uh,
had another good one.
Yes, I
School.
love that sock one.
I was like, I never thought of it that way. All right, great. So, Tracy, we're going to get into our our second giveaway. Then we'll go ahead and jump into machines and automation really quickly. So we have the total of 3 giveaways today. We've already given away the quilters combo. Next up, we have our free motion starter kit. I love the free motion starter kit. If we would have had this product when I first started with Grace and was learning kind of the basics of how to quilt, this would have made my process go a lot better. Would you agree, Jarek?
yeah, and I love, it has the batting cut out for you too, which is just an extra step that you don't have to deal with, which I love. So yeah, it's like a class in a box. So, you want to get hands-on experience sometimes trying to watch something through a YouTube video, especially with something that's like this. You can't just learn to play the piano. You got to put your hands on it. Same things with quilting. So this gives you the material and some things to trace to get you an idea of, bring you along the learning process. So I really love it.
Yes, yes. So let's go ahead. Let's start our drum roll of the free motion starter kit.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll.
All right, and who is our second winner today? Barbara O'Brien. All right.
O'Brien.
Awesome, awesome. Congratulations, Barbara. We have your email, so Allegra will be sending you an email and getting your address information so we can go ahead and send that awesome free motion starter kit out to you. All right, so we've talked about frames. What goes best with a frame, Jarek?
Machine.
Machine, yes, yes. Now, Tracy, I just have to ask, of the Qnique series, what is your favorite Qnique machine?
Well, when the Little Rebel came out, I thought, oh, how exciting that it sews. In other words, you can piece the quilt. You can you can make all kinds of things with the sewing portion, and it comes with an extension table. And then, as well as you can add it to the frames themselves. But I think, to be truly honest, that 16 X Elite would be my most preference for as far as just free motion quilting, because it has the larger throat. And if I want to do a 12-inch block, I can do a 12-inch block of any size and get quite a bit of pantograph done if I want to go like an edge to edge quilting.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. So I would say my number one favorite machine will be the 19X Elite. Then I'll say the 16X Elite, so I agree with you there, Tracy. I absolutely love the 21X Elite, but it's a big machine. It's a little bit intimidating. I'm a short person. Look how tall I am compared to Jared. I'm a short person. I don't have, go put your arms out in front of you. He has much more reach than I do. I love the 21. The 19X Elite is kind of that sweet spot for me. But let's go ahead, let's pull up our graphic. Let's look at the different machines. And again, all of everything we've talked about today, the frames, the machines, we'll get into a little bit of automation. Everything we're talking about today, Sewing World of Fort Worth can help answer any additional questions. We'll be at the show next week. Come try it, whether at the show, come see us at the show, try Go to the shop, test drive the machines and frames. Get what's going to fit you the best. So let's go ahead with our machines. And Jarek, tell us kind of about the machine lineup that we have.
So the smallest machine we have at 13 inches is the Rebel, which Tracy was saying that she really likes. And there's really not another machine out there because it does have the stitch regulation, which keeps your stitches the same length apart. And you can try that out in person because that really can help you understand what that's like versus a manual machine where you're having to get your stitch length set by how fast you're moving the machine or how fast you're moving the fabric. So while all of ours have manual mode, because once you get really good, some people do prefer that for specific types of quilting. For sure, the stitch regulation, it stops when you stop, so that way you have time to think. It's a buffer, it's a safety, really useful when you're learning, and it just makes really great stitches. It keeps them all the same length. So, a 13-inch machine at the price that this machine is, which we'll talk about later, and you'll see at the show, it's just really great. And now, that being said, I love the little Rebel, but like you were saying, Tracy, the 16X Elite for stitching, this is a real long arm machine. So while the Rebel, you can take it off and on, a lot of people already have a domestic machine that they're quite familiar with, and they can do that, they can already do the piecing with. So the ability just to keep one machine dedicated on the frame. The 16 is a really great machine. Honestly, I was a little bit skeptical about it because we had had the 15 for so long, but the more I've talked to people about the 16, the more people who have gotten it and said, Jarek, I just really love my machine. One lady at a Michigan show, she came back and she showed me all the quilts that she did. She's like, I'm so glad I got this machine. I was like, woo! So she showed me all the quilts that she did. She's like, I was just stuck. I wasn't doing anything. I was dreading doing quilting. So then she got the 16. So that's one story I like to share. So 16, especially at the price that the 16 is too, you really can't beat it because there's so many features. We literally can spend an hour talking about it, and we have, like on other lives and stuff. But adjustable handles, lights in the throat, a lot of good lighting up by the needle. There's even a little bobbin light. And then not to mention the Elite version, which has a bigger screen, which has a bobbin estimator and an even faster motor. So it's a really good balance of size. It's also just a really solid machine. And all these machines have a really powerful motor too. So even though the Rebel can do leather and some other vinyl, things like that. So it can really punch through there, and the stitch quality is great, and the way that it feels. So there's other brands out there, and so I always tell people I'm not afraid to send them to go try other machines. Most people, not everyone, because obviously some people are different. Most people say, you know what? After I tried all of them, I really like yours the best. And I have dealers that have had other brands and stuff for a while, and they've kind of moved away from them because, I'll be honest, this hasn't always been the story for us.
No.
Because we started with the 15, and that one had a lot of problems.
I wouldn't say problems. I would just say things that could have been improved.
Yeah,
yes.
but here's the thing.
And
have been. We've had the same engineer. His name's Cody. He's the manager of engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. So he is over all of it, and he's been with us from almost basically the very start. So we've had the same group of people very consistently who have learned and are very professional now at being able to improve the quality of machines. We're always looking to improve them. So I feel like we've really come to maturity in the quality of our machines, and I feel super confident about them. And like you said, when you try anything out new for the first time, it's like you're not going to get it perfect the first time. And the 15 wasn't bad by any means, but now I would say it's stellar. So 16 machine, super solid machine. It's like the second generation of our smaller thing. Like I said, we originally started with the 15. That was the first long arm we ever had. So in this price range, we have been the ones in the industry with the most experience with long arms at this price, this style.
And I feel the most innovation as well.
There's a lot of extra features that other companies don't have. So
now, one thing I absolutely love is, for the most part, all of the frames that we had up on that graphic, all of the machines that we had up on that graphic, for the most part, there's a couple exceptions. The machines and frames are interchangeable, and you can mix and match what machine, what frame. So the exceptions being the 21-inch machine, which is the machine right here behind us, certainly won't fit on the cutie or the mini quilter or the, what is it, the Q-Zone Queen? No, it fits on the Queen. Fits on all of the frames except the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, and then the Little Rebel, again, great option for the mini quilter, the Cutie Breeze, the Q-Zone Hoop, the Q-Zone Queen. I think technically it'll work on the Evolution series, but where the rails are coming up higher, the Evolution frame has the larger clips on the take-up rail, might not necessarily be kind of the best combination. So, but I love that everything kind of works together. Now, the best part, which I think really is the icing on the cake, automation software is compatible with all of our machines, all of our frames. Well, with the exception of the mini quilter, of course, but you can automate quilting with anything, almost everything in our product line. And you can do it all. I would say for less, top tier, if there's no sales, no promotions going on, less than, what would you say, $18,000-ish?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
I mean, it starts a lot lower than that too.
Yeah.
So
Great sales, great promotions, great bundle packages, show pricing. It's the best time to buy.
and I know there's a lot of information, so just keep in mind, what's your space that you have in your quilting room, what kind of budget are you looking for, and what are your goals, and what's your experience, and where do you see yourself kind of going with this. So don't try to memorize all the information that we sent you. Oh, that one can fit on this one, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. So that's what we're here for. Just keep in mind what you need and what situation you're in, and come talk it to us over the phone. The number's on the bottom there, or at the show.
Yep.
Well, that's a place to really figure it out.
Yes, yes. So Sewing World of Fort Worth. Their address has been across the bottom of the screen for our whole event. Address, phone number. Come see us at the show next week. Go visit the shop. Test drive. Test before you buy. They're going to be the best resource in your area to help you with that purchase. All right. Now, Tracy, any kind of last thoughts before we're wrapping up, get into our last giveaway of today?
Okay, sorry, I'm listening. They're getting a feedback back there. I'm sorry.
Oh
Ask
no,
that
that's
again.
okay. So, any kind of last thoughts? Any tidbit of information that you kind of want to throw in for anything and everything that we've talked about today?
Um, Not that I can think of. I know you both have done a wonderful job, and of course, this is my first time doing this, and I apologize for it.
That's
Um,
okay.
and, anyhow, I just hope everybody uh, for them invite them to come into the store for us to show them and demonstrate and help them with. We do help with the measuring because people will come in with their measurements of their room and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even a layout where the door is, where the windows are,
That's awesome.
for customizing what's best for them. Also, come to the show that we're going to have next little over a week away, and come out and see us there as well.
Yes, yes. Awesome. All right. Well, Tracy, we have one more giveaway today. And
Okay.
so we had the three giveaways, Quilters Combo and the Free Motion Starter Kit. Our third giveaway, Jarek and Tracy, it's a Cutie Breeze frame.
Wow.
There's a little thread package that will come with the frame. It's amazing, what you can do. So, for anybody that has their existing sewing machine, with the cutie frame. Put that sewing machine on the frame. Instead of push quilting, go ahead and dip into the world of frame quilting. So again, our third giveaway, you get the cutie, a package of bungees, and an 8-pack of thread. So let's go
Wow,
ahead.
big giveaway here.
Drum
That's a
roll.
wonderful.
And who is our winner today of that cutie package? So, all right,
Amy
Amy
Miller.
Miller. Woo!
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes, yes. So Amy,
Yay.
Allegra will be reaching out to you. She'll send you an email to get your address information so we can send out that wonderful gift to you. We do want to thank everybody for joining us today. Stop in and meet the wonderful staff at Sewing World of Fort Worth. Come by next week, see us at OSQE Irving. Lots of information. At the end of the day, I can say genuinely, I care from Grace. The Sewing World team, they care about their customers as well. Top tier. We're going to help you get into the best package, best bundle, best frame or machine that's going to be, work best for you. So again, come see us, stop in the store, see us at the show. And for now, we're going to go ahead and sign out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us today.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Learned
everyone.
a lot.